Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of December 9th through the 13th. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap from December 2nd through the 6th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is Rivn. We ended the day at $13, up 5.35%. This is where we are. To the north side takes us to resistance and a potential take profit area at 1342. Above that, 1361 and roughly 1381. To the south side takes us to -2 standard deviations, roughly 1267. 1248, another potential buy-in area and a potential stop loss area. And below that, roughly 1230. The middle of the trend is now here. I will mark that out. And note, we were here previously, and that was the middle of the trend. And now this line has turned into resistance as well as that line. And this has turned into support and support. Both these lines used to be the middle of the trend. Looking left, you can see we had a bounce here at support on the way down. That turns into support, just grinding along the middle of the trend. This is where price tends to hover before ripping to the north side or falling to the south side. This is the resting place. And this gap opened up and will continue into this week, as well as this one to the south side. And that will take us to roughly 1189. And this one will take us to 1235. Now, for this upcoming week, we could go sideways with this line, or we could slowly grind up where this median line is. And at the end of the week, if we continue to go up in the path that we are currently, that could take us to roughly 1474 and roughly 1512. And right now we're at 13. And to the south side, if it's just a slow move upward, that could be 1436. As far as the gaps to the upside, I'm still tracking this one, and that may be the last one. Let me flip this to the 15. Oh, nope, I'm also tracking this one. So let's keep that in mind as well. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. Just something to be aware of to the north side. All right, and let me flip this back to the 5. The next one is going to be Tsla. We ended the week at 389.22, up 5.34%. We are at resistance and overbought, so pay attention to that depending upon what time frame you play. Always know that when we hit this critical area of 70 and above, I don't know how far it's going to go up, but it will fall back down to potentially go back up again. So this tells you something is going to happen to the south side, but it can continue to go up just a little bit more and then flip on us. But right now we are still in an upward channel on the 5. One level of resistance. There are many in between. 393.68, 398.22. The middle of the trend takes us to right here. So we could go sideways or we could follow that line. And that line can quickly change on us. 372.94, 368.82, and we could potentially get here, but I doubt it. In one day, 364.84. I don't know. When we're up here, it's highly unlikely in one day we'll get down here unless there's going to be a wick to the south side, and that's a whole different story. I'm not talking about the wicks. So this is still in play. That opened up. We gapped up, so I will anticipate it will fill to the downside. This gapped down, so I anticipated that this will fill to the upside, and it did on Wednesday the 4th, and it opened up on Monday the 2nd. Oh, and we've got this one as well. Very gappy. Tsla will whip you around. The beta, as Murat says, to pay attention to, is not 1. This thing, if you've traded it, you know this is highly volatile. Okay, and look at all of these other gaps to the south side, but we are moving farther away from these gaps because we, again, are in an upward channel. But to the north side, I'm looking at a gap here that will take us up to 405.96, and I think that will be the last one I track for my gap and go trades. So the 1-year price target, the max, according to the analysts on TradingView, is 411. Not quite there yet, but this could definitely touch if we continue to go up by Tuesday. And we could work our way up and wick to this area as well. This will act as resistance. And just for giggles, let's just mark out one of them at 370.07. All right, this one is Tsly. I'm in Tsla and Tsly. We are at 1573, up 3.49%. This is a volatile one as well. So one thought is we could get to 1580. Okay, to the south side is basically where we are. Below that, 1563. Let's mark this out so we could see where we could be headed if we kind of go back down and sideways. And then roughly 1530, 1521, and roughly 1512. We've got this gap to the south side. Let's mark that out. So you can see the sell-off at resistance, support and a bounce, another area of support and a bounce, up to resistance and sell-off, resistance, sell-off. Now we're at resistance again. Let's talk about the gaps. That one's to the downside as well. And this one we gapped down, so I anticipated we fill it to the upside, and we did. So this is done. And that closed out on the 5th, and that took us to $15.20. And this one is still in play for this upcoming week. These are prices that I have tracked for the end of the day. That gives me also an idea quickly, without having to look at anything else, just where price has been, and if I want to get in on the action. I'll use this sometimes. And then the gaps as my entry or my exit point. So we're here, and this one will take us to 1647, and then this one will take us to 1772. And then this one will take us to roughly 1947-ish. I will clean that up later. And I've already marked out to the south side. Oh, and this one, what happened here? Okay, that one's done. This one touched when this gap formed to the south side. So that is no longer a threat to our account. Down to 1464, and you can see we went down even more and then started to grind our way back up. And other gaps to the south side, moving farther away from them. So not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close, but just something to be aware of. Don't think it can't get back there, because it certainly can. All right, that's Tsly. And did I mark? Oh yeah, I marked the middle of the trend. Did I mark Tsla? I think I did. Yes, I did. And Rivn for sure. All right, the next one is Sofi. I'm in this one as well for myself and for my mom. First, your price targets. We ended the week at 1602, up 2.36% to the north side. 1627, 1645, 1663. The middle of the trend takes us to this level. And look at this, we just flushed down in the toilet. See how volatile this is? Okay, 1555, 1537, and no way for Monday. Remember, when I give you the 5 minutes, this is for the next day. 1519, and then if you want to figure out where could we potentially go, we'll use the line. We started here. The movement isn't huge here because it's just a small or a short slope. It's not exponential or deep or anything like that. It's just a small little slope. And by the end of the week, if we continue to go down, the middle takes us to 1578. The bottom here, 1543. The outer band, 1506 for the upper band. Back to this line, which was once the middle of the trend that I marked out for you. This is now resistance. And then that will be 1615, 1632, and 1650. The line last week was here, so we fell through. This, look, that's resistance, fell back down to support, almost got to this line, which then turns into resistance, and then we finally busted through, got up to this level of resistance, fell back down, went a little sideways here, resistance, another level of resistance, 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 and then now we're making our way back up. So this will turn into at least one level of resistance besides the other ones that I have shown you. You can turn on your Fibonacci retracements. You can do your VWAP. You can put on the buy and sell signal, draw your trend lines. So many ways to get support and resistance. And then up here, we're getting in the high end of this zone. So watch out for that. Oh, and what about to the upside? All right. So I was going to stop tracking this because this is so far out, but everyone seems to be interested in Sofi now that it has run. I'm interested more in a ticker when it's in the red so that I can make better gains, but it always doesn't pan out. All right, so ignore this line. 1453. I don't know if I bought at this line. I'll have to figure out. I think I did. Oh yeah, and this line and this line. And the next gap that I am tracking takes us down to 1298. Estee Lauder up 1.47%. Oh, wait, let me see something. Okay, I did mark it. All right, from where we are, this is the middle of the trend now, going sideways. At 79.99, the upper band takes us to 81.48. 82.17 and 82.95. Will not stay there if we get there in one day. Remember, most likely it'll recalculate, and that if we hit up here, the lines could recalculate, and that upper band could then turn into 2 standard deviations. You just don't know. 78.45, 77.79, and roughly 76.99. This gap opened up, still in play. 78.19 to the south side. And this gap closed. What about this big one up here? This is still in play to the upside at 87.05. I think that is, oops, that is the gap I'm tracking. And then we'll stop if we hit that level. And I don't think I'm tracking anything to the south side. The earnings, the next target, oh, I think 107. With some downside action there, as you can see in the red. Okay, Intel. And I'm going to give you the price targets first. So to the north side, let's move this. We are at resistance, another level of resistance, 21.17 and roughly 21.42 to the south side. 20.40, 19.90, 19.64, and roughly 19.38. Looking left, you can see we're at resistance up here, flushing down to support, and then now we're just grinding sideways. But unfortunately, look at this. The last time, oh, I deleted it already. Oh, no. Right here. Oh, my goodness. What a drop. This was the middle of the trend last week, and then this upcoming week, we are here. That does not look good. We definitely tanked, and that's why I love it. But obviously that makes the shares that I buy turn upside down because I'm losing money. But I do want to pick some more up on this. So it's okay for right now for me that it goes down because I want to pick it up cheaper and then hold it long term and then hopefully get back to the areas where I bought. So, yep. And this, I want to show you. The 1 year price target is only 24.57, but that's a 17% return. For the 3 month period, we're up 7.61%. For the week, down 11.8%. But the 52-week low is 18.51, and then the high is 51.28. So this is close, but could we go down from where we are? According to the analysts, yes. Down to $20. So $20 takes us to right there, just right below the middle of the trend. I'm going to reset that. Or no, that's not below. Yeah. What did I say it was? Oh yeah, 20 even. Closer to this area. So that is definitely within the range I will be playing. And right now I'm going to add this into, let me put this. This is going to be in my top 20 tickers I am tracking with Trader Nate. Okay, this today is we are at 2092. I'm going to set a buy order around this gap. There's a gap to the downside. I've marked this, I dragged it out to 1936. Will we hit it? Sometimes I miss buying the dip when I set a buy order by just a penny or two. And it happens to me all the time. So I am actually going to set a buy order at 1936. maybe even 35, but definitely 36 because I want to dollar cost average into this position. And I don't really want to do it there at 1989. So that's my target right here. So let me do one other thing. Okay. And I will put this into my other watch list that I'm working on for the upcoming year, 2025. All right, so see how price has just hit this line 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And now this is our middle of the trend. But again, last week we were all the way up there. Crazy. Let's go to Nike. We're at 78.89, up 0.39%. The middle of the trend, oops, takes us right here to 79.68. From here to here, this line is resistance. Okay. 81.05, 81.76, 82.46 for Nike. And to the south side, 78.25, 77.57, and then this old line used to be the middle of the trend, which is now turned into support if we go sideways. And what I used to do is I used to mark the 2 standard deviations, the upper band, this line, and then this line. Now I'm just doing one line. But there are so many ways to chart, and it has to make sense for you. I'm sure people looking at this think, what in the world is she doing? And I'm sure I've lost viewers because of it, and I don't care. And that's okay, because you have to trade your own book, you have to trade your own way, or it just will never make sense for you. But I cannot trade any other way. I need lines. I need the linear regression lines. The bots are okay, but that too many trades off the bots, so you have to fix all the numbers, and I'm not going to do that. All right, we've got this gap to be aware of to the downside, but fortunately we are moving farther away from it at 75.31. I'm in this trade for my mom, and in this trade for my mom there with Intel. Oh, so we almost, see, we didn't quite close that one out, so that one is also in play. 81.42-ish. Did I mark it? Oh, I marked it as 81.40. So let's be consistent. There. And then this gap takes us to roughly 89.15-ish, and then 94.21-ish. And then this one, 75.31, 72.67. Let's go to Neo. Looks like we're just kind of going sideways and slightly down. So the middle of the trend. Roughly 462. We're at 461. 474. 479. And no way for Monday, 485. And if we do, you know what? It's going to happen. It'll sell off. People will take their profits and they will run. They will lock in and they will leave. And then another target, 450, 444, and roughly 438. Looking left, this gap to the downside closed out on Thursday. Opened up Thursday, closed out Thursday. Resistance, resistance, bounce off support. Making our way up here, and this is done at 467, and then we ran up some more to 482-ish. So I will delete that. And this gap will take us to 505. And a few other ones that are not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. All right, that will take us down to 417 and 395, not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. We're just slowly going down though. And where were we last week? We were here and then we went up here, but you can see the slope is going down. So by the end of the week, the middle could be roughly around 456, basically where we are now. And then the outer band, 444, 439, 432, and this upper band, 479. Am I done? No, got a couple more. Oh, wait a minute. I do want to go back, but since I'm right here, that is a gain of 4.85%. Oh, let's clean this up. Anytime I see a price label with a gap, I know that I need to fix my chart. So we gapped up, so I anticipate it to touch on the way down, and we did right there. So that is no longer a threat. Delete. And then this one touched right here as well on the 5th end of the, well, the beginning of the day, end of the 5th. It gapped up the next day. So there we are. And then, oh, nope, I got to clean up this one. Yeah, it's been a while. That did not touch there. I just extended out and it just happened to hit, but it really touched right here on the 5th. No longer in play to the upside at 534. And we've got that one. That one's done. All right, I think I've cleaned up this chart as much as I want to right now. Otherwise, it takes too long. The next one, that was Neo. I went back to Neo. And now Unilever. All right. To the north side. I'm in Neo and Unilever as well. I track many tickers and ETFs. 5962, 5983, 6004. That will be resistance. 5881, 5861, and 5840. $58.63 to the downside there. We'll close out lining up with -3 standard deviations. And down here at 57.65. What happened here? So we gapped up, so I anticipate it to fill to the downside, and it did on Wednesday. So that, oops, Command Z to undo. Garbage. So we are here this week, and last week we were up here. So we've stair-stepped our way down. The next target to the upside begins at 60.06, closes out at roughly 61.60. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. Moving farther away from those upper gaps and moving closer to these lower ones. All right, that's it. And Boeing is the last one, down 1.57%. So we're at 153.93. To the north side takes us back to this line where we've been before. This used to be the middle of the trend, and now this, from where we are, has turned into resistance, but we're going down. So keep that in mind. right. Oops. Let me call out some targets here. So 156.22, 159.23, 160.76, and 162.20. To the south side, 153.20, 151.71, and 150.20. I will extend this out. That will take us to 149.38. And if we slowly grind our way down, that could happen in roughly 2 weeks. Not this week, but the following. What else can I draw out? I think that is it. Yeah, I've cleaned this one up. Oh, I don't know what happened here. Oh, no, that's done. Okay. Yeah, it's best to flip this over to a different time frame and clean it up, because it will only let you go back so much before you have to flip it to another time frame. So this used to be the middle of the trend. And then note how it touched, let me move this out of the way. How it touched this line and then bounced off of it. That used to be the middle of the trend. And now that is support. But this line and this line is just too close for me. I don't need all these lines. I'm just drawing this out so that you can see what is happening. I'm going to flip this to the 15. Okay, you can see more of the chart. And so this line was this is last week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. And because we are so close, I'm just going to delete this line. There. Clean that up a bit. And put this line back. Right there. And then this line, wait a minute. Oh, wait, I drew the wrong line. I'm like, this does not look right. Okay, we are here. And the middle of the trend. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of that line anyway. It clutters things up. I don't need it. I just need one reference point. So now this one and this one are so close to this. And I'm going to get rid of the older one, which is this one for now. I'll delete that one later. All right, that is bowing. Oh, one other thing. This is the gap I am looking at, tracking to 173.61. And we are all the way down here, but we are in an upward channel. And this technically could touch by the end of the week. So we are here. The midpoint could be at 165.92, 170.60, 172.79. And if we get to here, that will take out that gap at 175.05. And that price target is 173.61. And am I tracking anything else to the south side besides this 149.38? Nope, I think that is it. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of December 9th through the 13th. I hope you have a fantastic trading week.